It's time for another episode of the AdWords Saga. Oh, yes, it continues. Okay, so this time, if you remember from last time, left off with a very smarmy email which pretty much called my website a load of shit. She said that there was not enough quality content on the site, and that the site didn't contain enough content that wasn't designed to get people to click on ads. Uh, yeah, she just basically came out and said, your site just sucks and you need to fix that and then we'll help you out. This after I sent her an email saying, you know what, I'm never going to use AdWords again. So yeah, if you haven't seen that video yet, click here. I'm definitely, for this one, I'm going to make a little thing here. So you can click here and watch that video first because it is going to be important to understanding why I responded the way I did in this video. So without further ado, pause this, of course, if you want to watch the first video first. But yes, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and read the email that I responded to this bitch with. What blows my mind here is that your response is actually very smarmy, making judgment calls based on opinion rather than fact. You try to make it sound like a professional response, but in doing so, you insinuate that there is no original content on my website. No original content? You really want to go there? All right, let's go there. Example number 1. In the movies section, I have written an article entitled The Dark Knight vs. Miller's Crossing. An article which details similarities between the two movies in an attempt to convince viewers to watch both movies back to back. This is content you won't find anywhere else on the internet because it contains my own thoughts and opinions on the subject, sharing particular instances in which the two films are similar that most viewers probably wouldn't have thought of or made the connection to. Like I said, this isn't content that can be found anywhere else on the internet. How do I know that? Because I created this double feature type of article months ago when I noticed that it had not been done anywhere else, and I had the desire to do so. Again, this is original content that cannot be found anywhere else. Example 2. In my article on natural user interface advertisements, otherwise known as new ads, I share my own personal opinions on the subject, creating an original and new article for the website. These are words and thoughts and feelings that are not duplicated anywhere else on the internet. If they are duplicated, it is only through the work of people who do not follow your guidelines and steal content from others' websites. In this case, my own. I own all the rights to my own written content, and I can tell you with certainty that not only is this content original and new, but it is content you will not find anywhere else. Example 3. Now for some articles that don't necessarily share content that can't be found elsewhere, but still do not violate your terms. In one of my more recent articles entitled Tribes Ascend to be Free to Play, I described the new information that this unreleased game will be free to play, but along with that information I assert the following. Tribes is one of the most beloved multiplayer games of all time, with fans keeping the MMO community alive even to this day. Sadly, the last full Tribes game to be released was Tribes 2 in 2001, and there has yet to be a true successor to the sequel. End quote. Which gives background information on the game in question instead of just giving them the same standard update that other websites give. In addition to this background information, I end the article with the following thoughts. Quote, considering how beloved the Tribes series is, it's almost a guarantee that all the fans that have been keeping the Tribes 2 community alive will finally have a reason to move on when Ascend hits the net. It's sad that we can no longer look forward to Sierra producing the Tribes games, but at least we're getting new games in the series, right? Besides, it's hard to argue with a free game. If these screenshots and the full trailer below are any indication, this looks to be an awesome addition to the series. Here's hoping Ascend brings Tribes back to the glory it once held in its heyday. These are all my personal opinions that I am sharing. otherwise known as original content that cannot be found elsewhere. Let us dissect this. Quote, considering how beloved the Tribes series is, it's almost a guarantee that all the fans that have been keeping the Tribes 2 community alive will finally have a reason to move on when Ascend hits the net. End quote. This is an assertion I make based on previously explained information, but it isn't known yet whether or not this will actually happen. It is simply an assertion made based on the fact that I believe this will happen. Thereby it is original content based on my own beliefs and opinions. Quote, it's sad that we can no longer look forward to Sierra producing the Tribes games. End quote. Another opinion, original content. Quote, if these screenshots and the full trailer below are any indication, this looks to be an awesome addition to the series. End quote. Again, an opinion, original content. Quote, here's hoping Ascend brings Tribes back to the glory it once held. End quote. Another opinion / hope for the future, original content. So yes, even though I'm sharing information about the new game that is available elsewhere, I am also including information and personal thoughts on the subject that are not available anywhere else. This is original content, is it not? Example number 4. Even my other writers are sharing original content in their posts. In the Free PC Game of the Week article, the Garbage Gamer asserts the following about the game, saying it's, quote, something that's not a bland war FPS, or a bland war RTS, or some life-sucking MMORPG that seems to saturate the PC market. No, today I bring you Prown. After spending just a few moments trying to figure out how to say it and another 10 minutes playing it, I knew this game was free Game of the Week material. End quote. These are opinions and statements of personal experiences. This is original content that cannot be found anywhere else on the net. These are just a few examples of the many on my website that exemplify how Geeky.com offers original content all the time. So maybe the hot deals section isn't reserved for original content, but it shouldn't have to be. I regularly see professional websites such as Blu-ray.com writing articles about new hot deals on Amazon and elsewhere, rarely ever offering any new original content about the sale, only ever explaining the same information about the sale that every other website does. To make matters worse, they have a search bar at the top of their website which displays all of the best deals. These are advertisements designed to make them money, and they do not provide new or original content in any way. If Blu-ray.com, a professional website, can do something like this, why can't I? Who are you to tell me what I can and can't do with my website? Want another example of a website that does this? TechBargains.com. The site is specifically designed to share information about special sale prices on electronics all over the net. They never offer new or original content in their postings, but they are a professional website nonetheless, advertised by web services like Yahoo and others. Again, if they can't get away with never offering any new or original content, why can't I get away with making a few posts a week to this effect? These posts do not reflect the majority of the articles written for my website, only the minority. Most of the articles written on Geeky.com feature completely original content. This is a case where you have chosen to cherry-pick the few that do not offer entirely original content and deny me your services based on that. Never mind that other professional websites have the right to provide content like this. Never mind that it doesn't represent the largest body of my work. You have decided that because of the small amount of content like this on Geeky.com, I will not be allowed to use your services. To make matters worse, you assert the following, quote, Justin, it's not the number of articles, but what is contained within an article that we look at. There may be just one article a week, but they should provide users with content that they would not get elsewhere. Please note that videos do not fall under the original content as they cannot be found on other sites as well. It's not just the quantity of the content, but the quality that is important as well. I'm sorry that my last email did not explain this properly. That was my favorite quote, by the way. You speak to me as if I did not know this, and by so doing, you assert that the quality of my content is not satisfactory. Why don't you just come out and say that my website sucks and you don't like the content it provides? Since when are you the sole deciding factor as to whether or not a website or its content is good or not? How dare you tell me that I'm not good enough? Do you see now how this comes off? Maybe you didn't intend to insult me, but you did it just the same. You need to choose your words more carefully when dealing with customers. How does it feel to have your work judged for a change? I have been writing for the web for several years, and I have plenty of experience in the field. Apparently a lot more experience than you do. I know what I'm doing. I know how to properly write an article for the web. I know that I have to add original content with plenty of quality, and I have never had a coworker or a boss tell me that my work was unsatisfactory. In fact, I have only received praise for my work in the past, indicating to me that my writing is of the highest quality and standard. To be quite frank, if you don't think the quality of my content is sufficient enough, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm starting to understand why my supervisors in several professional websites refuse to do business with AdWords. This is unbelievable. You do not treat customers like this if you want them to use your services. You need me a lot more than I need you. The burden of proof is not on me to prove that my website has quality and original content not found anywhere else. The burden of proof lies on you and your company. To put it simply, you can't just pick and choose a few examples where the website doesn't perfectly, exactly fit your definitions the way that you chose to read them. If other websites are allowed to use these practices and advertise their services, there should be no reason that I cannot do so. I'd like to remind you that AdWords is not the only game in town when it comes to advertising. I don't need you. The only reason I'm responding is because you have insulted me in the quality of my content on my website, and I don't mind taking the time out of my day to prove you wrong. Perhaps other website owners will bow to your every whim, but unlike them, I have self-confidence and a belief in the content that I provide with this website. In closing, I just want to also mention that videos which have been made by me and share original thoughts on different subjects are original content. They may have been posted on a website like YouTube, but they are my content, original content, and I own the rights to this content. You cannot tell me how to run my own site. You shouldn't assume to tell me that the quality of the content on my site is unsatisfactory. That is all I have to say to you. And since this video is running long, I'm going to just leave the next response for its own video. Because that was a pretty long response, wasn't it? Pretty lengthy. But as you can see, at this point I was like, you know what? I don't even care if I get to use your services or not. I just want to fucking show you up. I want to fucking show you how much of a douchebag you really fucking are. And that's exactly what I did. So, if you want to hear their response to that, and yes, they did respond with more smarm, check out the next video in the AdWords saga. Catch you later. Peace.